Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Layer by Layer, the show about 3D printing and our place inside the industry. Today we're going to be talking about Tangled Filament, Etsy Corduroy, a whole bunch of info about Etsy, and maybe, just maybe if we're lucky, we'll talk about all the things your grandma got right. But before that, let's go ahead and pay the bills. This episode is brought to you by Tangled Filament. Tangled Filament is our attempt to decrease the cost of filament towards $10. This is going to be a road trip, but we're getting it done. Since starting in September, Tangled Filament has dropped from $22 per kilogram down to $17. And here in just a few more days, maybe up to a week, we're going to drop down to $15. Do subscribe over at the tangledfilament.com website, and we will keep you updated when those filament releases come by. So check out tangledfilament.com. It's true. We are going to do another price drop here real soon, guys, with Tangled Filament. It's pretty exciting. Right now, if you there's a amount of glut filament over there, and glut filament is leftover filament from our print farm operations. There's a bunch of glut ABS in a number of different colors. So if you're ABS printer, there's a lot of that over there. There might still be some glut wood PLA over there. But beyond that, we're going to drop our core filament pricing here very soon. So that'll be coming down. We'll do a separate announcement video with that because there's going to be, in discussions with the team, there's probably going to be some restructuring with Tangled as a whole because we've kind of moved into a new realm, both with the second extruder coming along and everything else. The new efficiencies are coming through, so we're able to pass those efficiencies on to you guys. Bouncing off of that, where the Tangled Filament, there were a number of discussion questions that we wanted to do with Tangled today. One was, where did the name come from? Oh, the Tangled Filament name is a fantastic name. I don't care what anybody says. Tangled Filament is freaking brilliant, and it is perfect for what Tangled is, because Tangled is kind of plucky, in that we're going to make filament cheaper than everybody and just drop the cost down through the floor and maybe do it profitably, maybe not. We're going to do it profitably, but eventually. But Tangled Filament, calling it Tangled was a very tongue-in-cheek kind of move to where it's like, yeah, let's just lean into it. Because number one, throughout this process, we have hit every branch of the stupid tree on the way down while ramping up consumer filament again. We've made all the mistakes, from packaging to the production of it itself to getting the right colors and getting all the rest of it in and so on and so forth. Even though we'd been making filament for ourselves for a long time, reconverting it into consumer product creates all kinds of messes that you're not used to, the shipping and all the rest of it. But we're on roadmap. Like right now, like I said, we were doing a kind of a business review of the Tangled project the last few days, and we're on good roadmap to hit $10. We will have PETG out in like somewhere between 3 and 6 months, and I'm sorry to be loose about that. What's likely going to happen is that in September, October, we'll do a big old push and store up inventory for y'all during Christmas. But then once it's gone, it's going to be gone until January. So we'll get that done. We are going to crack $15 here very soon. And at that point, I'm pretty sure we'll probably be the cheapest truly US made filament. There's other filaments sold in the US that claim US that are not. They're shipping it across part of the ocean or across a particular border. So anyhow, but that'll be coming loose. And we're with the last couple of batches that we've done, we've gone ahead and done the analysis and looked at, okay, this is what broke, this is where the squeeze is, so on and so forth, and made the moves to kind of refine the processes so that they get more efficient here the next time around. Right now, we did a tour of the Etsy of the extruder for Tangled a few weeks ago and showed it here on the channel. That extruder was certainly a fixer-upper when we got it, and we knew that when we got it because we operate on an MVP model of you prove out that the baseline works with as little cost as possible, and then from there you ramp up and get better as fast as you can. That's the fundamental operational standard for us here at Slant 3D. Get better fast. But start with a little and duct tape and spit. Anyhow, that extruder has been upgraded in a number of different ways, even from when we did that video tour, that has improved its output quite substantially. the quality of its output, and the labor intensity of its output. So a lot of upgrades on that have helped with efficiency, and then spooling in the rest of it, we've refined and tied down, and everything's working, and we've gotten through the teething. So everything's getting more efficient. So yeah, be on the lookout for that drop over on Tangled itself. We will also be messing with the model a little bit to where we might be doing drops rather than just straight inventory, just so that we have batches to control and be like, hey, on the 30th of every month, Filament will come available, and once it's sold out, and it will ship within 2 weeks or something like that. And just get these efficiencies into where we're like, here's the batch, here's the control, so on and so forth. So we'll keep on doing experiments with that. With the price drop also, we're settling on final pricing for it to see where it's sustainable. We're trying to shoot for the $15. With that might not stick for forever. I mean, all of our price reductions thus far have stuck for forever because we're good at getting better. But the 15 is kind of an experimental run of like, okay, we're going to do this. We're going to take our lickings if there are any, and then we'll readjust. We might have to adjust pricing back up for a minute or something because everybody in Maine ordered it, and we got to wait until we have distribution over there that's a little bit closer. So all of that is a concern. But no, we're on good trend. As far as the rest of Tangled, yes, overall in a good spot. We are on track to get to the $10 per kg. This is an interesting thing in the context of Tangled. Right now, what we do is we offer the filament with free shipping included, which means that the shipping is not free. The shipping is baked into the pricing of the filament. Sorry to break the illusion, but free shipping is in the cost of the product. With free shipping for that, it can add anywhere between $5 to $15, depending on how far the thing is going. What we might do, which will be good for some people and bad for others, is just start billing for shipping, which you never want to do in e-commerce. You never want to bill for shipping in e-commerce because it's two decisions for the customer. If you're a pure e-commerce player, this is what you do, is that you have free shipping baked in the cost of the product so that as soon as a person decides to buy the product, you get the credit card, you get the purchase, and then you're done. If you add in shipping, then the person has to decide on the cost of the product and then decide again of the cost plus shipping. You don't want two decisions because it decreases your conversion rate. That being said, Tangled is very much a functionalist group of customers. Y'all are out there price checking everything. So it might behoove us to do just literally the cost of manufacture plus margin, and then have y'all pay the exact amount of shipping wherever it may be. Now, this kind of hurts us because, number one, a lot of people are east of the Mississippi. In fact, 80% of the U.S. population is east of the Mississippi. So from a distribution standpoint, it's bad because your shipping costs might actually increase so that your cumulative cost per spool might increase. That being said, the data from our sales shows that there's enough folks on the California side to justify it because all of you guys would potentially get a shipping discount to where the total cost is lower than like the $15 or something if we sold it just straight cost of material. So rather than averaging the cost of shipping across everybody, which we effectively do right now with free shipping, we just have you guys own it. And if we did that, we could pretty much take the cost of filament down to pretty darn close to 10 like right away. And you pay shipping for however much you order. This is good in a number of different ways because number one, we do expect Tangled to be a resource to other print farms of good quality, low cost filament, which is a son of a gun. Like print farms are irritating. And believe me, I know because I am one of the most irritating clients or customers that any of our suppliers have because I ask for a pallet of filament and all of it has to be perfect because I'm going to notice. So I understand the difficulty with this, and I also understand the challenges with us doing that. But the thing is that we get better faster very often. So even if we ship a pallet and there's a bug or a blob inside of there somewhere, those blobs are going to happen in increasingly less frequency because we get better very quickly. And we're working to simplify. Like literally, the only things that have changed in the master plan that we've pretty much hit all the way through right now are the number of colors that we offered. We only offer black right now and nothing else. Vote down in the comments if there's like a color that you need in bulk, because we're a bulk supplier. We're most definitely a bulk supplier. Anyhow, going back to the print farm, guys, having just the cost of shipping on top of that lets you order 1 spool or 3 spools or 200 spools and you pay whatever the shipping is for that amount, exactly, precisely. And that's interesting and fine. I'm okay with that. But yeah, it makes it better for those guys. And as a feedstock for print farms, which is effectively what we're going for by just commoditizing filament as fast as we can, it's really valuable. Oh, that being said too, with the release, we will be reintroducing 1 kg packs outside of just simply subscriptions. So those will be coming back. Because we understand that most people can't use a 3 kg spool. We would like y'all to. It's way better, and it's a lot cheaper to make. And it might cripple y'all who want 1 kg spools from ever getting to the $10. But aside from that, there's ways of getting around it. Okay. But yeah, Tangled will have a number of things. We may introduce new colors here. There's a couple we've been messing around with colors, and both the production flow has improved enough to where we don't mind introducing color and dealing with the shenanigans of that. And with options like glut to take the transition points out, that's interesting and useful. So there's ways of getting that done. So cool. Aside from that, other Tangled updates. The Tangled testing channel, which of course is a partner to Tangled, will start having videos dropping here again pretty darn soon. There's a few videos that will kind of collab with the main Slant 3D channel about design. And then we are waiting still for our tensile tester to arrive. The tensile tester is currently on the docks waiting to be scanned because apparently it looks like a nuke or something. Who knows? But anyhow. Beyond that, no other updates on Tangled. We covered all of it, so I'm not too worried about the situation. But there we go. Alrighty then. Moving on with life then. The API update. API upgrade has been stable, been working well. The team has been focusing on it really well. The API is operating quite well. And quite frankly, you guys are freaking rolling some stuff through there. It is a good thing we did the upgrade because you guys are testing and running through so many flipping files. You devs out there, we had to introduce rate limiting because y'all were had some freaking infinite loop running on the thing, which is fine. It actually wasn't an infinite loop. People are just moving a ton of files through it. So it's very exciting. Of course, as per usual, let us know if there are any bugs or problems there. The API, we're going to keep fairly basic. That being said, here very soon, its capabilities will start expanding here. We're over kind of the foundational hump of like, here's the MVP. We're solving all the core foundational problems that come up when you launch a new product of like, oh, the battery doesn't last as long as we thought. Well, let's get that upgrade done and kill that little vestigial software that's draining it and so on and so forth. You clean up the baseline, and then you can start improving now that foundation is good, or expanding since that foundation is good. So API will probably be introducing new colors and similar sorts of features quite soon, as well as continuing to improve the development interaction with it all. So that's that. Etsy Corduroy. This is coming out next week. In fact, this podcast comes out on Sunday. This should be released on Tuesday. We are doing, on Monday actually is scheduled downtime for this upgrade. The Etsy plugin is getting the Etsy Corduroy upgrade. And Etsy Corduroy, by the way, Corduroy. Isn't that a great name? That's a great name for an Etsy plugin. Corduroy. The Corduroy upgrade will be coming through. It will have a very special piece of functionality on it that is going to allow anybody who has an existing 3D printing Etsy store to not just double the capacity to produce parts, but double the number of parts they have in their store. The number of product offerings that they have, probably even more than double. It's a very exciting product release that we think will fundamentally open up access to products to a much wider range of people and allow more sellers to sell 3D printed products than have ever been possible before. So yes, it's a very exciting addition that we have been working on for a bit here. In fact, we were working on it before, as soon as the Etsy app plugin launched, Etsy Corduroy went right into production. Even we knew it was going to be important. So it's coming along here, and it's going to be baseline functionality with this new feature. The Corduroy upgrade is an upgrade of the whole system. Front end, back end, I mean, it's another full revamp. And I know we've done a full revamp on the Etsy app a couple times, but this one's full revamp. So anyhow, but yeah, Corduroy will be coming out on Tuesday. Monday, the Etsy app will be down for a moment as we push that upgrade. We are clearing out capacity to make sure that orders are still processed in a timely manner. And that should be fine. We'll be all set and ready to go there. Again, a lot of people running files through there. So again, good thing the API, which is the backbone of the whole thing, is operating so well. So that's that. All right, 3D printing news. There is no 3D printing news, guys. There is nothing this week. Quite frankly, we should have hustled up the Corduroy release. We could have done press releases about that. But no, there's no new big upgrades. So it'll be interesting to see what everybody does there. But it's not going to be interesting to see. There's nothing to see. There's literally nothing that happened this week in the world of 3D printing. There was no refreshes, no new, nothing. Guy talked on podcast about thing. Like, that's all that happened. So moving on to something else. Discussion topic number 1. There's 2 today. Everything about Etsy. Okay. So we work with a lot of Etsy stores and have worked with a lot of Etsy stores for many years now. Probably our oldest Etsy client is somewhere between 3-4 years old. I think they've been working with us for 4 years. Maybe more. Wow. I'm getting old. Anyhow, we know a lot about Etsy, not only through our users, but we also, at Slant 3D, we really believe in dog fooding, eating our own cooking. So whenever we start releasing a service or a product, generally that service or product comes after we have effectively used that service or product. So when we started working with Etsy stores, we immediately had our own Etsy stores that we started selling stuff through in order to understand the dynamics of the whole value and supply chain, and where the pain points were, so that we knew that we weren't one of them. So with Etsy, in the creation of an Etsy store, number 1, very easy to create an Etsy store. It has actually gotten easier because about a year ago, they moved over to Plaid for verification. So before that, Etsy was doing all of its own internal verification, which means that very often people got flagged for no reason whatsoever. Since Plaid has taken over, that has gotten a lot better to where you can create a store and they're not going to be like, you're selling bodies, or you're an illegal fake person who died 50 years ago. They won't do any of that stuff. They won't flag you for stupid reasons. So it's much easier to work with Etsy in starting up a store and know that your store will exist tomorrow and not just be suspended for no reason. So that has been an improvement. Once having created an Etsy store, it takes like 20 minutes to create an Etsy store. Once that is created, the number 1 rule is to use the ads. The fundamental value of Etsy is the ads. They are effectively unmanaged social ads, to where if you pay for them, you are getting distribution both on Etsy traffic itself and through a decent amount of their social media, even though Etsy's own ad spending has decreased. So external presentation of products is less than what it used to be. That being said, their ad product still works very well. If you are running ads, you should expect a ROAS, a return on investment, of at least 2. If you're not getting 2, you're wrong. ROAS means you get back twice as much money as what you spent. So if you're looking for 2, you spend $1 and you got $2 back from that dollar spent, which means that you have $1 left over to make and ship your part, by the way. In addition to turning on ads, make sure you have free shipping. If you don't have free shipping, you're lower in the listings. Increase the price of your product, turn on free shipping. Make sure you do that. Pricing of products. Pricing of products is fully dependent upon you. It has nothing to do with the cost of the product. It has nothing to do with what you think the product should cost. It has nothing to do with your competitors. It has to do with what a customer will pay. That is the price of the product. That being said, a place to start is the cost of the product times 3. That is the place to start because that has enough money to make the part, enough money to pay yourself, enough money to pay for the ads. The rule of threes. This applies everywhere if you're selling a taco shell or selling a robot. Price of threes, rule of threes, minimum. It is better if you find a product that has more value, a product that you can make for $1 and sell for $10. If you are trying to be the cheapest option, you should not sell on Etsy. You're going to lose and you're going to go broke. Also, by the way, value your time. If you are selling on Etsy, it is not the cost of the materials in it. It is the cost of the materials plus however much you make per hour making those things and shipping those things and boxing those things. I didn't mean to turn this into a plug, but this is why we built the Etsy plugin. So that shop owners and designers who wanted to focus on creating products and taking care of customers and being an entrepreneur without having to also have to be a factory operator. If you have to build a print farm for your Etsy store and then operate that print farm and then also build a logistics system of finding boxes, shipping boxes, packing boxes, knowing what UPS is, knowing what the customs import forms are and that kind of stuff, that is all stuff that has to be learned and is a pain in the tail. Which is why we built the plugin so that people could outsource that and know that they both had unlimited scale and not have to deal with the shenanigans of packing a box and shipping things. They just an order came through. Slant 3D took care of it. It's like, it is the difference between having a YouTube video that anybody can watch anytime, whether I'm here or not. When you're watching this, I'm off doing something else. It's magic. Or doing a play where I have to be on stage every night. That's the difference. Anyhow, but value your time if you are making stuff yourself. That's basic stuff for pricing. It is highly recommended to make a video of your product. If you have a video demonstratable product, do that. The reason for it is, number one, Etsy wants you to make the video. And the reason Etsy wants you to make that video is because they want to advertise on TikTok. And if all of their sellers give them a bunch of free content to put on TikTok, they'll advertise your item on TikTok. So do that. Make a video of the thing. I'm probably really jacking up the audio right now, aren't I? I'll be more professional. All right. More options do not equal more sales. This is an easy hole for people to fall in. But as soon as people create a product, they immediately create 15 colors, 4 different sizes. I'm jacking with the audio again. 4 different sizes. And then they create all 3 different variations and things. Again, if you're using our app, it doesn't matter. Variations of files are good because you can focus in on products that people actually want. But if you're doing it yourself, it's a nightmare. Introduction of variation increases the chances of failure. The more options you have, the more chance you're going to ship one wrong. Also, most customers really do not care about that much variation. And if you want to have an example, Apple and Tesla, they have 5 colors. And they sell as much or more than anybody else. They seem to be doing something right. There are 2 data points of very successful organizations that do not use large numbers of variations. So don't do it inside your Etsy store. Find the products that work. If a single product becomes 50% of your sales, you should kill all the other products. Focus on that one and improve or slightly diversify or expand it in some kind of a way, controllably. This is kind of the siren song of 3D printing. Everybody thinks that since it can make everything, you should try to make everything. And generally, that's not the case. The same rules of humans is the same. Humans don't like choices. Anybody who tells you you need to have options on your site, if you're making anything other than fashion, they're wrong. Options confuse and frustrate people. Show them the best option that looks the greatest. Sell that. Not all the variations. And believe me, I have the scar tissue to prove that this is correct. I chase shiny things all the time. And I actively I should tattoo it on my forehead. Stop it, stupid. Shiny thing. Squirrel. Whatever it happens to be. Don't do that. Etsy is in a weird spot right now. So at the beginning of this year, they changed their fundamental search algorithm. So a bunch of people got hit and a bunch of people kind of won. Right now, it's stabilizing. The data is showing that it's stabilizing, and the algorithm has learned or settled, or they made the changes they need to. But they were doing, I don't know what they were doing, but they were messing up search really badly because they changed how it all worked. When working with Etsy or any platform company, that platform is God. So if you are on Etsy, you do not get to set the rules. The rules are what they are. You have to adjust with it. You have to learn to go with the flow. And someday it might kill you. It is very possible. Again, scar tissue to prove it. But Etsy is shifting and moving around right now. And they're in a place, the whole stock market and every public company is in a place where there's a round of culling happening. So culling of features, culling of people, and everything else are going to be felt in the product itself. So be ready for that. Side hack, responding to messages kind of helps. So they have a badge system where you get to be a star seller for responding. But the problem is when you become a star seller, it doesn't really increase your sales much. It helps a little. I mean, it does help a little. But is it really worth it responding to 10 messages on Saturday night? Not really. Probably not. So yeah, don't kill yourself for your Etsy store. Get good star reviews. Those are important, especially early on. But yeah. Pricing your product, talked about that. What products are there that are good? Well, I'm going to totally invalidate some of our other YouTube videos one of these days because we have some of these coming down. What products are good? If I tell you what product is good, that is probably the worst product to use because everybody else watching this video now knows that product. So it's not a secret and you lose competitive advantage. Here's the thing though, and with that, very often it is not the idea of the product that makes the company, it is the execution of the company. Like right now, you can go sell potatoes. And if you sell potatoes better than anybody else sells potatoes, then you're fine. There's no secret that you're selling potatoes. It's like, oh, don't tell anybody I'm selling potatoes. I don't want everybody else to find out how great it is. If you're operating a stable, good business and you do a good job, you are immune to competition in a large way. Because number one, we're interacting with humans and humans like working with other humans. Like quite frankly, you watch this video because somehow you're able to tolerate this. I don't know why, but whatever. But there's a relationship here. And so long as we continue to operate in an ethical and honorable manner and truthfully on like the YouTube and that kind of stuff, like, hey, here's an ad for Filament. We're selling Filament. I'm totally trying to sell you Filament. There's break the wall, shatter the glass. But if you are operating with good business practices, someone else knowing your idea and copying your idea should not matter. It'll bite, it'll dig into you for a minute, but if you are more persistent and more sound from a business and ethics standpoint, you'll outlast them. Because if somebody clones you and cuts it to a lower price, they're in an unsustainable position. Because number one, they start from a point of instability by ripping off somebody else, which means that you know more about the product and the industry. And they're also, if they also do it by like a price undercut, they're in a more unstable position because they can't sustain that. It's very rare that someone doing a good job is replaced by somebody else doing a clone of that good job. Like if you made boutique custom chairs and you were a fantastic carpenter and then Walmart showed up and was selling their cardboard chairs, I'm sure you're still doing fine so long as you were making good chairs. If you made crappy chairs and then Walmart showed up, you're probably not out of business now. But there is this protection in just doing good work. So, all right, discussion topic number 2. Oh, this is prescient. On the topic of just do good work. Your grandma was right about everything. This is a topic that we've been had on the podcast list for quite a while. And again, it's hilarious coming from somebody who has skin this supple. I'm not 80, so what the hell should I be saying about all this stuff? But I'm going to anyway, because I love my grandmother. But it's been really interesting because, quite frankly, I do engage with a lot of young people. And quite frankly, a lot of people on the team here at Slant 3D are younger than I am. So it comes up a lot because we have conversations around goals in life and how to do stuff and principles of work and that kind of thing. And I keep on coming back to very basic information. Like when my age, there's my age and younger, there's very often this drive to think that there's some secret that's out there that you gotta find. And there's really not. Quite frankly, most of the secrets you have been told before. And it's just internalizing them and actually acting on them. So like very simple ones like this are like sleep 8 hours a night and eat healthy. Eat your green vegetables. It is amazing how much your life improves when you do those things. Even though right now we live in a world where, number one, there's this false idea of like lose sleep to get more work done, and I can eat crap or whatever else it was, especially when you're young because you can't eat crap and still survive. But these very simple things that are absolutely necessary, and regardless of whatever some douchebag who's selling you on some form of productivity is telling you, they are necessary for sustained long-term productivity. Not sleeping a full 8 hours a night or the amount that is necessary for you decreases your productivity so much the next day that you might as well have gotten the sleep. Because when you are fully rested, your brain just operates at a whole different level than when you are debilitated. And losing sleep is debilitating. Eating right does the same thing. If you eat crap, you think like crap, you operate like crap, you work like crap, all of that. That's like the most simple information out there that people think is wrong. Like they're like, no, you gotta lose sleep sometimes to do work. No. Every one of these stories where people talk about like the programmer who worked through 48 hours, I've done that. I know that. I'm fully aware of that. It is not, never has that ever been done during a creative or not high stress situation, but during a critical piece of work. If you are trying to churn through the hours, you are doing busy work and knocking it out. So like if you were programming for 48 hours, you were freaking doing the stupid scut work or whatever else it was, because you certainly were not doing your most brilliant work right then. Guaranteed you were not doing your most brilliant work right then. I don't care how many Red Bulls you had. So, because there's, after hour 24, you fall off a cliff. I don't care who you are. To where you're still doing something, sure, but it is of such a low quality that it doesn't matter. So I always tell my people, like, you do the most important work when you're rested, and then if there's scut work that has to be caught up to get it done, like we got to readjust these buttons around the screen and place them just right, that you can do on sleep deprivation because there's an obvious feedback loop. But if you have to be creative or smart, don't do that. Eating right is obvious. Eat right. You don't ruin your life. Work hard. Yeah, work hard. Crazy one. That we have, when I do one-on-ones with people, we do a conversation about hard work. And we bias towards hard work in Slant 3D because hard work is more reliable than brilliance. Brilliance gets you to a napkin sketch. Hard work gets you to the machine. It is very easy to be brilliant. It is very easy. This is going to be passive aggressive. It's very easy to comment on a YouTube video about doing it the right way without having never made a YouTube video. So, ooh, man, this is therapeutic. But yeah, hard work gets you to the actual result because brilliance never sees the whole picture and never can until you actually put something into practice. You have to grind and you have to put in the reps and the repetition in order to get to true brilliance and not expertise. I'm losing my mind. But hard work, yes, gets you to a position that brilliance never can. There's also a really good conversation. Paul Graham did it at a YC interview. He's like, if you have two people at equal levels and you have one person who is super brilliant and you take away their work ethic, then you eventually have a very brilliant, ineffectual human. But if you have somebody who works hard and is very tenacious, but not very brilliant, they'll keep on moving ahead bit by bit because they just don't go backwards. They grab whatever they can. They grab ChatGPT, whatever it happens to be. So action is the key to success and being able to take more action than somebody else. It's very obvious and simple in that regard. Brilliance helps and it's a shortcut. Work smart and hard, but Given the two options, working hard is better. And again, I'll bet every one of your grandparents told you that. Show up on time, work hard, put in 5 more minutes, put in 15 more minutes, whatever it happens to be. That will create more success. Crazily enough, it does. It's also controllable. You don't know how smart, you can't choose how smart you are, but you can choose how hard you go at something. So it's way easier to have something controllable rather than bestowed upon you, and then miserable if it's not. Marry up. Yeah. I don't have too much to say for that. I'm still single. But it's of my siblings, it seems to have worked for all of them. And they all have seemed to be able to marry up. And it has radically improved the quality of their life. But yeah, find somebody good. Find the most important decision you can make in life is who your partner is for life. So make sure you pick a good one. And ideally better than you so that you complement each other. Politicians are liars. Yes, politicians are liars. Hopefully everybody knows that, but even though, well, no, I don't think that is common. Like, people get so beat up in politics right now because I think they believe the shellac that people are selling on like Capitol Hill or wherever we're in the States, but wherever you are, I'm sure all the politicians lie there too. Apologize for bumping the mic, I know. But yeah, politicians are liars. Don't get caught up in those arguments. They're ridiculous and pointless. Sticks and stones will break your bones, but words will never hurt you. Another grandmotherly advice. Yeah, go ahead. Roast me in the comments. You don't exist. I've been kicked by a horse. I don't care what you guys say in the comments. It ain't gonna hurt me. Go for it. The grass is always greener on the other side of the fence. Yeah, as humans, we're always looking for the next cool thing. And it always looks better than the thing we've got. But I will respond to another piece of worldly wisdom that goes along with this one is one bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush. Certainty is very valuable. And while you have to take risks to do certain things, shiny things and other things always look better until you get over there and then you find all their dirty little secrets. Money does not buy happiness. Money helps. I mean, it makes certain parts of life easier. No money doesn't create happiness. That's the inverse of it. But the right now there is a fixation on materialism. I mean, like, anybody scrolling through Instagram has this. Like, better body, better car, better house, blah, 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 blah. Doesn't really matter. Very few of those things radically impact your quality of life. Stuff does not really improve your quality of life. And actually, I probably shouldn't have an opinion about this because I'm like an uber minimalist in a lot of stuff to where I don't have anything. You can put all my stuff in a suitcase. But stuff doesn't make you happier and generally adds to the convolution and noise more than anything else. If you've got a collection of ceramic cats, just imagine how much time you spend worrying about when one of those is going to break, or when some child wanders into your house and might run into the shelf. Rather than enjoying the child, you're worried about the ceramic cats, which don't really add that much to your life. Because your grandmother was right, but your grandmother also had a lot of ceramic cats. That's okay. She had all our children. She's allowed. The rest of us who are still living and productive and having our lives, have our whole lives in front of us, don't have that luxury. So get rid of your ceramic cats, you 22-year-old fella. But yes, fundamentally, this the point of this conversation was the fact that there's a lot of very old wisdom that still applies. If you read any old text or any old how to be successful book, pretty much all of them say the same things over and over again, which is take care of yourself, make good decisions, work with great people. Don't listen to the noise and flack, because there's tons of noise and flack that, again, gets your lizard brain going. And we love to indulge our lizard brain. We love to eat ice cream, scroll Instagram, and yell at people who are wrong. But very little of that, actually, none of that helps at all. And your grandmother told you all of this. She was like, hon, be happy, be nice, work hard, do what you're good at. Don't go chasing the Joneses. And generally things get a lot better because those very fundamental truths apply today and 10 years from now and 100 years from now. So regardless of what AI does or what you think is happening in the planet or anything else, all of these truths will still apply in the future. They're one of the constancies. So, yeah, have a great day, everybody.